Today I'm out in Plano, Texas with the hotly anticipated newest member of the Corolla family. This is the new Corolla Cross Hybrid. There are a lot of things that we did expect in the Corolla Cross Hybrid and a few that were a bit of a surprise. Let's take a look. 2023 doesn't just bring us engine choices, it also brings us design choices. This is the new S front end. You'll find this on the S, SE, and XSE trims. These are going to be hybrid only, but you can get the hybrid system in the LE and XLE trim, which retains the slightly more conventional mini Highlander look that we saw before. To my eye, this looks a little bit more like the rest of the Corolla lineup, whereas the Corolla Cross in LE and XLE trims look a little bit more like a mini Highlander. This bar right here does not actually vent anything. There's a blacked out Toyota logo there. All the cooling happens in these two sections on this large black lower panel. This reminds me a little bit of, I guess, Corolla meets Avalon stretched a little bit. Unlike a lot of early rumors, the Corolla Cross doesn't end up using the Prius 1.8-liter four-cylinder hybrid system. Instead, this is using an all-new 2-liter hybrid system. It's based around a very similar design philosophy where we have a dual motor transaxle over there on that side and then a separate electric motor in the back, giving this all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is going to be standard on all Corolla Cross hybrids. Thanks to the upsized engine and likely a bigger electric motor in the back, power comes in at 194 horsepower. That's a pretty significant bump over the regular gasoline version of the Corolla Cross, so you can see why this XSE and SE design language happens only in the hybrid model. Now, there are a few details we still don't know yet. For instance, we don't know how much power is going back there to the rear axle. I expect it's a pretty significant bump over what we see in the E all-wheel drive Prius, but perhaps not quite as much as the RAV4 hybrid. Fuel economy figures have not been announced just yet, but Toyota has said that they're targeting 37 miles per gallon combined with this hybrid system. Although details are still sketchy, it does appear that same hybrid system is going to be found in the new all-wheel drive hybrid Corolla sedan. So if you want a little bit better fuel efficiency and you want the sedan format, you could get this. If you want crossover functionality and a little bit extra ground clearance, you want the Corolla Cross. Toyota puts the air-cooled lithium-ion battery pack right here under the rear passenger seat. It doesn't appear to have compromised rear passenger room at all, so the cabin still has a roomier feel than you'll find in any other Corolla. Although on the inside, things are still a little bit tighter than some of the other subcompact crossovers that you might want to cross-shop against the Corolla Cross. The location of the battery pack had me really hoping that the Corolla Cross retained a spare tire in the hybrid model, and you'll definitely see a lot of storage space right here in the rear compartment, but there is this pretty thick foam divider. If I lift it up out of the way, we find an electrical disconnect for the high voltage system that feeds the rear electric motor. I'm not entirely sure why Toyota has located it exactly here, because there is room for a spare tire if they had simply moved that connector to over here in this large blank area where not a lot's going on. The interior is essentially the same as the regular Corolla Cross, so we have a large moonroof right here. This is the SE trim that I'm currently in. The fabric seats have a bit of a sportier vibe with some blue stitching and blue accents in the middle. The dashboard looks very much like the regular Corolla with a soft touch center section, harder plastics above, but we do get a new infotainment system for 2023. Now, I can't show you this, rather unfortunately, there's no key for this vehicle, but it is running the latest connected infotainment software from Toyota. So basically the same software that we find also in the new Lexus NX, only on a slightly smaller screen. It supports wireless smartphone integration, which is a nice touch, single zone automatic climate control down there, an extra button bank, now a USB-C power port in the dashboard, pretty standard console shifter and center console area, 2 large cup holders there, and a very small storage area right there between the front seats. This SE trim has a fairly small color LCD in the middle of everything, and then some physical gauges on either side. The steering wheel itself is pretty similar to the rest of the Corolla lineup. In addition to the new infotainment software and infotainment screen on the inside, all Corolla Crosses, regardless of whether we're talking about a base hybrid S model like this white one next to me, or an absolute base non-hybrid model, they're all going to be getting Toyota's latest active safety software. Toyota's calling this Safety Sense 3.0, which is interestingly a half step above the Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 system that we find on the new 2023 Toyota Sequoia. This Safety Sense package gives you things like adaptive cruise control, lane centering, lane departure warning, autonomous emergency braking, etc., and a whole laundry list of additional features. As we often see with new vehicle launches, there's still a number of details that Toyota has yet to release with the new Corolla Cross. For instance, exactly how much power can we get back here to the rear axle? They haven't said whether this is going to have a brand new electric rear axle or whether perhaps the motor has been borrowed out of the Toyota RAV4 hybrid. That would really be an interesting twist, but certainly expect more power on the rear axle than we find in the Prius's e all-wheel drive system for greater capability in the Corolla Cross. At this point, we don't know how much the Corolla Cross Hybrid is going to set you back, but I expect the price tag is not going to be too far above the regular all-wheel drive non-hybrid model, because that's certainly something that we've seen from Toyota for their last few vehicles, like the RAV4 Hybrid versus the regular RAV4 and the Highlander Hybrid versus the regular Highlander. If you're curious about how much the Corolla Cross is going to cost and exactly how it drives, hit that subscribe button at the bottom of your screen, because I will be driving this over the next few months. This is going to be on sale a little bit later in 2022. So if you want to get your hands on the most efficient subcompact crossover in America and one of the most affordable hybrids with 37 miles per gallon combined, definitely keep the Corolla Cross Hybrid on your shopping list.